everybody misunderstands the kind of notion of futurology or future forecasting. It isn't about predicting in the understood sense of the word, i.e. you kind of sit and think, well, the future is about X or Y. It is more about analysis of existing data and then looking for the anomaly in that kind of analysis, and then searching other parts of the world where you think you will find similar patterns, and then starting to see where the anomalies begin to demonstrate a different direction or a different curve in what would seem to be a straightforward path. So thinking, for example, if you think about organic food, you know, when we start looking at organic food, it was a tiny, tiny blemish on the bigger food industry map. I noticed this in a number of sectors and a number of countries, but also crucially among the kind of consumers where you would traditionally look to see change. A lot of things that seem to be about intuition and that sudden kind of spark of, wow, the eureka moment, really is a process of distillation, of ideas that are being collected, of fragments of knowledge that have been assembled, of trial and error that may not be visible to everybody. So the moment of discovery is a bit like fermentation, when you kind of, brew your beer or kind of make your wine, that suddenly it seems to appear out of nowhere, but behind the scenes there are a lot of hidden processes, there are a lot of hidden syntheses, there are lots of kind of serendipitous moments, and all of these things go to produce a single idea, and an idea in itself can then become infectious because other people have been gathering these fragments, gathering these kind of things in their head, and suddenly they go, of course that's the answer. This is not a prediction, this is just looking at, I suppose, the law of desire versus the law of need. And I always think when you get desire and need together, you get to a third thing, which is kind of a change in how we live our lives. So a simple thing, over the next 5 years, you will see home 3D printers emerging. So lots of manufacturers are bringing them to market. First generation, not brilliant. Second generation, better. Third generation 3D printers will print in color and print moving parts and print the kind of products that people will see not as a prototype, but as a thing that they can use around the home. And that, I think, in turn will change how we consume things. A lot of things are delivered to the home, but imagine things that are printed in the home. So that's kind of one of the big changes we'll see, is a shift away from mass offshore production to micro inshore manufacturing. And in itself, that changes hugely the economic model we have to follow today. There are a lot of things that are surprising, but not unexpected. I think what I mean by that is that sometimes I'm surprised by the speed at which some things take on. People borrow them, and also the speed at which some things vanish from our kind of psyche. I think, for example, fax machines are one of those kind of great, what I call cul-de-sac technologies, whereby, if you turn left, we could have had an entire world framed by how faxes delivered information, but because we turned right and created the laptop and the internet, we changed entirely the future of the world. And I think the one thing a forecaster has to be open to all the time is that idea that there is always a black swan, there is always a new thing, that it's absolutely unpredictable. But unpredictability in itself is something that can be built into the grand master plan.